Hi, my name is Andreas. Do you always invoice your projects at a fixed price? Or have your customers grown used to pay for time and material because, well, that's just how we do invoicing here? Then it might be worth to consider if you should mix it up a little. As it happens, there are several pros and cons for both ways of invoicing your customers, and maybe you haven't considered all of them. Let's take a look. Invoicing for time and material. In most cases, you invoice your customer at the end of the month for whatever time and material you have spent on them or their project in the past month. The hours spent are multiplied with the hourly rate of your consultant to reach the final invoicing amount. This kind of invoicing is often used in open-ended projects where you don't have a clear project scope from the beginning. So what are some of the benefits of invoicing time and material? From your customer's perspective, the benefit is that they only pay for the time you work for them and the material you use. This can give you a sense of safety and control over the project. From your perspective, on the other hand, you don't have to predict all the cost in advance before delivering the project. This gives you a safety that you actually get paid for the work you do. Well, unless you need to write down hours, of course. A final benefit is that you can get started on a new project much faster than if you had to plan the project in depth like a fixed price project. It can be a selling point that you're able to react quickly to customer requests for new projects. Now, safe income for your work might sound nice, but there are also some downsides to invoicing time and material. From your customer's perspective, the final cost can come as an unpleasant surprise compared to what they expected. Maybe the project has grown unexpectedly or, work has been delayed. This isn't exactly healthy for your customer relationship if this happens too often. For your organization and your project managers, and most often people don't really consider this, time and material invoicing can become a bit of a sleeping pillow. The reason is that you're not forced to scope projects and optimize delivery in the same way you would if the project was sold for a fixed price. Finally, you can't maximize your project margin above the hourly rate you charge your customers. This limits the earning potential and often leads to an unstable organization that are always on the hunt for the next 10 hours. Now, let's have a look at invoicing your projects at a fixed price. When you invoice your project at a fixed price, the terms of payment are transparent for both parties at the start of the project. You have agreed on a price with your customer and you try to stick to this price. The challenge lies in actually nailing the price from the start. This kind of invoicing is used where the project scope is clear from the start. Why would you want to invoice at a fixed price? As a start, your customers know what they must pay and you know what kind of revenue you can expect from the project. And if you're good at scoping and planning your project, you also get a good idea of the cost involved and how much profit you can expect. This provides both you and your customer a certain amount of security. Another benefit is that project planning and execution is also easier for your project managers as the framework for your project is clear from the beginning. But maybe the most important and often quite overlooked benefit is that fixed price projects force your project teams to optimize scope, planning and delivery to ensure that projects are profitable. This pushes your capabilities as a project organization and forces you to do better. If you do this well, you can generate much larger profits than you would on a similar time and material project where project margin is fixed to your hourly rate. But fixed price invoicing is not all roses. By default, you as a supplier are stuck with the risk if your project falls behind schedule or cost rise unexpectedly. This can really cut down your project margin or even lead to loss if you made a poor estimate. You can cover your losses if you manage to renegotiate the price with your customer. However, this should not be your go-to way of getting out of a poor project estimates as it stresses the relationship with your customer. If your organization still struggles to estimate project, this makes fixed price invoicing a risky affair. But if you do manage to develop your team into a lean, mean project executing machine, then fixed price invoicing is indeed a good option both for your organization and for your wallet. Just keep in mind that whether you use time and material or fixed price invoicing, you should pick the type of invoicing that suits your project and not just the kind you're used to. Thanks for listening and good luck invoicing.